I wanted to make a video to show a couple of the things that I couldn't really explain adequately in my review for the Spectrum Optical Instruments 102 millimeter refractor telescope. One of the issues that this particular telescope has is that the overall mount and tripod are not particularly steady. I can just gently pull this, and actually I can tighten this up a little, but even with having all that tight, that moves quite a bit, and I'm not even pulling on it much. The tripod leg is actually moving. I know you can't see that in the video, but the tripod leg is moving too, because the joint where the outer leg goes with the extension, it bends there. I tightened up just about everything I could on this. I tightened up the joints here. I tightened up everything on the mount that I could. I even tightened up the spreader bar. It doesn't help, unfortunately. So that's just an issue of these particular mounts. I've used mounts like this before in the past. It's very small. It's very lightweight. It is what I would call minimally adequate. They're at least not aluminum legs. They're steel legs. That's helpful. One thing that you can do is take a half-gallon milk jug, strap it underneath that center spreader bar, and let that hang down. That will help lower the center of gravity. It'll help reduce some of the vibrations. It's one way to at least minimize some of that with this particular setup, which is otherwise actually not too bad, especially for the price that it is. This is a type of telescope I wish I would have had when I was first starting, because it's got enough aperture to be able to see things. The eyepieces are actually somewhat decent. Two modified achromats, which are nothing to write home about, but they're enough to be able to see through well. And importantly, this short focal length one, which is a 4 millimeter, which normally you would have been given a Plössl type eyepiece in the past, which would have had glass about the size of a pinhead. This actually has about, I'm going to say about maybe 9 or 10 millimeters across at the top there, and it's a 62-degree field of view, apparent field of view, which I don't want to go into too much explanation, but it basically makes it easier for you to be able to see in it. You don't have to have your eye on the glass to be able to see it. You have to put your eye pretty close on this one, but not, in your eyeball, which is nice. One of the other things about this telescope, the focuser does work well, by the way. I reviewed another telescope recently where the focuser was awful. This one's not too bad. The video that is part of the instructions that you access through a QR code does a pretty good job of showing most of the setup. It even shows you a little bit of how to use it. What it does not do is show you how to aim any other direction other than north. Now, I've got some videos out on that big fancy video site that you may find, or other people will show you how to use this type of telescope. But just very quickly, I want to show this because it was literally something that would have taken them 5 seconds to do in the video. So if this is aiming north. If you want to aim south, you have to turn the tube like this and then swing things this way, and then you can aim it south. You also can do it from the other side as well. The problem with that on this telescope is that sometimes you're going to run into this slow motion control. You can take this off. There's another knob here that you can use to access the slow motion, so you can take that off and still aim things over in this direction. You can look at things overhead without having to run into that. You can look at things overhead this way and go back and forth. You really can see anywhere you need to in the sky, and you want to use the right ascension knob to be able to control the slow motion, because when you aim this north and you have your latitude set and your level and you're aimed towards Polaris, it makes it so much easier to be able to track things at higher magnification. One other nice thing this telescope offers is this. Most people don't know what to do with that. That's not for the sun. Don't aim this at the sun. This is to stop down the aperture so you can look at the moon, because the moon is really bright, and when you use this cap, you don't get quite as much resolution, but you're not going to go crazy trying to see things because this setup does not come with a filter, that neutral density filter that knocks down some of that glare. So that's one way to be able to do that, and that is helpful. Overall, yes, it's minimally adequate for the mount and the tripod, which are okay for beginners. You may be frustrated because I found that this